Hello and welcome to the table, Baldurs Gate, DND, and yes, Warhammer friends as well. Grab your favorite drink, kick back and relax because we have a very special modded class and character build to showcase today. We'll be taking a look at the Oath of Conquest subclass for Paladins in Baldurs Gate 3. Huge credit to the mod author Havsglimp for taking the time and effort to really try to bring to life this 5th edition D&D class. Yes, this is a lore-friendly class from the actual universe for all the D&D aficionados out there, and Havsglimp has really put a lot of effort into making sure that the class gets as close as possible to matching the actual tabletop class given the game's features. Now, let's take a look at the actual description of the Oath of Conquest Paladin, to quote Havsglimp. The Oath of Conquest calls to paladins who seek glory in battle and the subjugation of their enemies. It isn't enough for these paladins to establish order, they must crush the forces of chaos. Sometimes called Night Tyrants or Ironmongers, those who swear this oath gather into grim orders that serve gods or philosophies of war and well-ordered might. So based off of that description, they definitely are quote-unquote good paladins, but at the same time, a little bit veering into the morally gray area, so you'll be using a lot of fear tactics, a lot of subjugation as well, and to really match this class, the character we'll be creating will be based off Saint Celestine from the Warhammer 40k universe. So a little bit of quick lore and backstory to who Saint Celestine is, and yes, to all of the 40k aficionados out there, please fill in the gaps or also let me know in the comments below any specific information I might have missed for her character. I do love talking about the lore for both D&D and 40k, and I'm totally okay for those who may need to correct me on a few things, or like I said, if I might have missed anything from her character. But she essentially was one of the Sisters of Battle that fought for the Imperium of Man in the Great Crusade, and also beyond too, I believe, in the Horus Heresy as well. But she was killed in battle. I believe it might have been from a Chaos Marine or a very powerful enemy of the Imperium, but was actually brought back to life from the Emperor of Mankind himself, and thus during clutch moments or in heats of battle when it seems like all is lost for the Imperium, she appears randomly and essentially just wipes the floor with whatever enemy that they are up against. She is literally a one-woman doomstack for mankind, but she's essentially become one of the greatest heroes of the Imperium, I believe on par with some of the Primarchs too. But essentially what we are going to be creating is not just a very powerful paladin, but also a paladin that can stand on its own and really just bring fear to any enemy or also whatever opponent that they are facing on the battlefield. Now, also, I really want to give a special shout out and thank you to all of the new subscribers and also to the longtime viewers and subscribers on this channel too. We recently surpassed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and whether you found me through the D&D and Baldurs Gate communities or specifically from the Warhammer community as well, for all of the Total War friends and fans out there that might have found my narrative campaigns, I'll definitely be uploading more of those, and the direction of this channel will still adhere and keep to Baldur's Gate builds and narrative Total War campaigns. Each and every single one of you means a lot to me as a creator, and this video is dedicated to both communities as well. We'll be creating essentially a Warhammer character within Baldur's Gate 3 using the game mechanics. Now, for any new viewer out there who is watching this, the gist of my channel is that I love creating unique and modded characters in Baldur's Gate 3, and also really just pushing the limits of the game to see what kind of mechanics that we can create and also showcase as well. Now, how I want to structure this video is going through all 12 levels of the class alone. Yes, I know there are some of you who really want to multi-class and also see how this class synergizes with other classes too. However, as a thank you to Havsglimp and also to really dedicate this video to them, I want to see what all 12 levels has in store for us. Separate videos will be made with multi-classing this class with other modded classes, or even with the vanilla base classes themselves, like I said, just to see what kind of synergies, or also for unique characters that we can create. Now, when it comes to character creation, I am also someone who doesn't try to min-max too much. I try to keep to unique roleplay, or essentially flavor. So when it comes to roleplay and flavor, that doesn't always mean a character is going to be almighty, all-powerful, or like I was mentioning before, dumping the stats in one or the other, but also just something that is unique to my playstyle and hopefully something that you can relate to as well. Now also, if you have any suggestions for different character builds or any build requests that you would love to see on this channel, let me know in the comments below, or also if there's anything that you would change with this character build. I do love having these honest discussions with all of you, and also just really want to hear any sort of feedback on how I can improve my builds, or also ideas from you. We love to have these in-depth discussions too, just because it generates a lot of great ideas and complex builds in the future that we can create together. But without further ado, let's take a look first at the starting level, then we'll go into levels 2 through 12, and then wrapping up with specific gear to complement the build or to lean into specific abilities. The race you'll choose for this build is the ASMR race from Whispers of the Divine. I'll leave a link to that mod in the pinned comment as well, and huge thank yous and credits to Tripsidon for bringing this 5th edition class to the game itself. It is a very fleshed out race too, with different sub-races of Protector ASMR, Scourge ASMR, Fallen ASMR, and Harbinger, but specifically for this build we'll be using Protector ASMR because of the actions, complementing the playstyle as well for Saint Celestine. You'll be getting Mark of the Protector, which means you may bless yourself or a target to take proficiency bonus, reduce damage the next time they are hurt, granting yourself radiant resistance, and overall this really just plays into the tanky nature of both the Paladin and also the Sister of Battle too. Now, the subclass Oath of Paladin, the actions you'll be getting are Channel Oath, Conquering Presence. You can use your Channel Oath to exude a terrifying presence. As an action, you force each enemy that you can see within 9 meters of you to make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a creature becomes fearful of you for 1 minute. The fearful creature can repeat this saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success, but this will last 10 turns for them. Very powerful at starting level. We also get Guided Strike. Use your Channel Oath to strike with supernatural accuracy, gaining a +10 bonus when making an attack roll specifically. These are also the tenets of the Oath of Conquest Paladin. Douse the Flame of Hope. It's not enough to merely defeat an enemy in battle. Your victory must be so overwhelming your enemy's will to fight is shattered forever. A blade can end a life. Fear can end an empire. Rule with an iron fist. Once you have conquered, tolerate no dissent. Your word is law. Those who obey it shall be favored. Those who defy it will be punished as an example to all who might follow. And last but not least, strength above all. You shall rule until a stronger one arises. Then you must grow mightier and meet the challenge or fall to your own ruin. So, very morally gray, not necessarily super goody two-shoes of a paladin, but for the background to roleplay Saint Celestine, she was technically a soldier in not an Imperial army per se, but specifically of the Sisters of Battle. The skills you'll be getting are Athletics and Intimidation, very fitting for a grimdark character. And as for the ability allocation, this is what we have at starting level. I decided to forego having a plus 17 to strength and instead trying to balance it out with 16 to strength, charisma at 16 as well, because that is our casting modifier. Wisdom will leave at a respectable 10. Intelligence, I'm okay with taking points away from, and also putting those points into Constitution. Now, some of you may be concerned that I have Dexterity at a base plus 10. That's the thing too with Paladins, is you'll be relying more on heavy armor, and while it is nice to have that initial initiative, the thing is too, the fact that you have heavy armor, and also going back to the subrace feature of Mark of the Protector, having the ability to reduce damage to yourself, means that even if the enemy gets the jump on you or has a higher initiative, you'll still be able to tank that damage. And also when it comes to skill proficiencies, your major skills will be Athletics, Insight, Medicine, Intimidation, and Persuasion. At level 2, we can choose a fighting style. I personally decided to choose Superior Technique, which is a fighting style that I got from a mod. It gives us 1 superiority die, and also we learn the Riposte maneuver from the Battlemaster subclass. This is kind of like a nice counter-attack should you find yourself in a pretty bad 1v1 situation. For the prepared spells, I decided to pick some that would really fit Celestine's character, such as Heroism, grant yourself or an ally immune to being frightened, and also 5 temporary hit points for 10 turns, Searing Smite, lighting your weapon on fire and dealing fire damage. This really plays well into both Celestine and also the subclass itself. Wrathful Smite, frighten your target, and they'll gain disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. Also, they can't move for 2 turns, compelling a duel with opponents, only gaining a disadvantage against other targets. And a nice little roleplay touch here with Command, forcing creatures to flee, move closer, freeze, drop to the ground, or drop their weapons. At level 2, we gain the feature of Divine Health. Divine magic flowing within you prevents disease from affecting us, and we also gain Armor of Agathis, gain 5 temporary hit points and deal 5 additional cold damage to any creature that hits us with a melee attack. And also for the race specific feature, we gain Mantle of the Protector for the Protector ASMR. At the end of each turn, you and your allies within 10 meters of you that you can see gain 1d4 hit points for 10 turns. So it's a nice little feature that pairs well with one of our pieces of equipment that I'll showcase later on too. At level 4, we gain an additional Lay on Hands charge, and also for the additional 2 spells, I personally suggest Thunderous Smite, pushing targets away 3 meters and possibly knocking them prone. And especially in later levels, Protection from Good and Evil is really useful there too for your allies. For the feat, this is a little bit of a cop-out, but hit points do really matter in the long run, so gaining Tough at level 4 to later stack up and rack up those hit points will play well and pair well with your role as a tank for the party. Not much really changes at level 6, but I would personally choose Prayer of Healing as your additional spell here, just as an AoE healing spell and good all-arounder for your entire party. At level 7, we gain a very specific subclass feature of Aura of Conquest. Constantly emanate a menacing aura while you're not incapacitated, extending 3 meters from you in every direction. If the creature is frightened of you, movement speed is reduced to 0 while in the aura, and that creature takes psychic damage equal to half your paladin level if it starts its turn there. This is really good for battlefield control, and also the fact that your movement, their movement speed will be pretty much incapacitated, allowing you to close the distance on them. Now for the prepared spells, your additional spell here, you can choose whatever you want. Protection from poison is a good option, but for me personally, I decided to pick Aid. This is a spell you'll be using outside of combat to raise your allies' hit point maximum, even if it's just by 5 points. At level 8, as I said before, pick whatever spell you decide works best for you. I decided to go with Protection from Poison as a good all-arounder, and for the feat, I decided to pick Martial Adept, learning 2 maneuvers from Battlemaster and gaining a superiority die. You can also choose whichever one you want here. This is just something that I like as additional features for martial-based classes, and to complement Saint Celestine's role on the battlefield, menacing attack, spending a superiority die to deal additional 1d8 damage and possibly frightening a target, and also the rally feature, using your superiority die to gain 1 or 8 temporary hit points to an ally, bolstering their resolve. Both of these are a nice little hand-in-hand combination to bring some battlefield control, or to help sway things in the party in your party's favor. At level 9, we have the Bestow Curse spell. Curse a creature with your touch. Curse either bestows disadvantage on checks and saving throws, lets you deal additional damage to the target, or robs it of its conditions, which also pairs well with the Fear spell. Targets drop everything and become fearful. Disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls for 2 turns. As for the prepared spells, the additional spells that I would personally pick up would be Warden of Vitality. While the aura lasts, cast Restore Vitality as a bonus action to heal yourself or nearby allies. Blinding Smite to deal 3d8 radiant damage and possibly blinding your targets. This is almost like Saint Celestine screaming for the Emperor and really just blasting everyone around her. And Spirit Shroud is another good way of role-playing that kind of battle line too. Calling spirits of the dead, these could be like dead Imperial guards or even dead Space Marines to help you in battle. And dealing either cold damage, necro damage, or radiant damage, and preventing your enemies from gaining hit points. And also Elemental Weapon is just a nice upgrade from Magical Weapon, receiving +1 bonus to attack rolls, additional d4 damage of your choice. At level 10, we gain an additional Lay on Hands charge and Aura of Courage. You and nearby allies can't be frightened unless you fall unconscious. As for the additional spell, go ahead and pick whatever you want here, but Remove Curse is generally a good support all-around spell. Plus also, it's just annoying to have any sort of hex or curse on you or the party member. At level 11, we gain Improved Divine Smite, additional 1 to 8 radiant damage. As for your additional spell here, for roleplay purposes, Crusader Mantle just really plays well into the idea of Saint Celestine appearing onto the battlefield and granting more damage and attack opportunities for her allies. So This really just brings an overall buff to you and your allies. At level 12, pick whatever spell here you want, but I personally like Revivify to return a companion to life should they fall unconscious. Even though it's just one hit point, it's an emergency spell use, so hopefully you don't need to use it, but it's there if need be. Savage Attacker is a good feat to pick up here too. When you make a melee attack, roll your damage dice twice and use the highest result. Just an overall get out of jail free card should you roll pretty low. Alright friends, this is just my personal preference when it comes to equipment and gear. For all the D&D and Warhammer friends out there, if you have a difference of opinion when it comes to the specific equipment, please let me know in the comments below what you would personally choose, and we can definitely get a good discussion going over what fits better roleplay, or if we really want to go into min-maxing, I am totally on board with that as well. But for the headpiece, we'll start off with the Holy Lance Helm. Smite the Graceless. Creatures who miss their attack rolls against the wearer must make a dexterity saving throw or take 1 to 4 radiant damage. This is really good and pairs well with the high amount of AC. The higher amount your armor class, the more chance that the enemy will actually miss you, and this is almost like, hey, you get extra damage with it. We also get Angel Wings here too. This is from another mod, which I'll, yes, of course, leave in the pinned comment below here too. This really fits with Saint Celestine being an actual living saint, and I do know that it does seem a bit overpowered, but at the same time, you are going to be that one-woman doom stack. We also have Armor of Devotion here. I personally love the look of this armor. The aesthetic really fits the Sister of Battle, and also we get a class action of Eternal Devotion. Recite your oath to gain 1 channel oath charge. It is just 1 channel oath charge, but it really fits into the roleplay and plays very well, especially with the fact that it gives an 18 armor class. The Helldust gloves are some of my personal favorites, just because with Infernal Acuity, gain a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, and Infernal Touch. Weapon attacks deal an additional 1 to 6 fire damage, and also we get the Rays of Fire cantrips. 9 to 54 fire damage with hurling 3 rays of fire, each ray dealing 3 to 18 fire damage. Really fits into with the Wrath of the Emperor kind of spell. The Helldust boots are another personal favorite of mine. With Steadfast, you cannot be forcibly moved by a foe's spells or actions, and you ignore effects of difficult terrain. Infernal Evasion, when you fail a saving throw, you may use your reaction to succeed instead. But the main feature I really want here is Hellcrawler. Teleport to an area and deal 2 to 16 fire damage where you land. The Impact Blast spreads in a 3-meter zone. This counts as a bonus action, so you can follow it up with an additional attack. And the fact that you can teleport anywhere between 18 meters, that's incredibly powerful, and that's basically you making a major entrance on your enemies. For Amulet and Rings, I like using Unflinching Protector Amulet. This plays well into the fact that Saint Celestine is there to protect the Imperial Guard, and just like her, you'll be using this to protect your party members. Unflinching Protection, when a nearby ally is targeted by an attack of any kind, use your reaction to make that attack automatically miss. This effect can only be used once per short rest, but hey, it's definitely a nice little get out of jail free card, so it kind of behooves you to fight alongside Lae'zel, Karlach, any frontline damage dealer of the party. Killer's Sweetheart is also very useful here. Executioner, when you kill a creature, your next attack roll will be a critical hit. Once spent, this effect refreshes after a long rest. You can always choose to decline a critical hit, and just save it up for when you need it the most, like against a very powerful boss. Ring of Regeneration is just an all-around good ring at the beginning of your turn. Heal yourself for 1 to 4 hit points. It is just a small amount, but the fact that it's every turn, it's kind of allowing you to stay longer in battle, or like a nice little self-sustain too. For the shield, Kethric's shield is a good all-arounder. Gain a +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls, and specifically Shield Bash. When a foe hits you with a melee attack, use your reaction to knock it prone unless they succeed a dexterity saving throw. And your main weapon here, Duke Ravengard's Longsword. It's a versatile weapon and also does 6 to 18 damage overall with an additional 1d6 fire. When you kill an enemy, allies within 9 meters gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier, which is going to be a respectable +3. And also we gain the Commander's Strike ability class action. Direct an ally to strike a foe. The ally uses a reaction on the next turn to make a weapon attack. And that's the thing here too. This is a really nice teamwork build of equipment here too. The fact that you can give temporary hit points to your allies, it's a nice little rally feature too. Plus also, speaking of rally feature, Commander's Strike plays really well into that. And overall, the equipment and armor really plays well into Saint Celestine being that battlefield commander. Alright friends, that was 12 levels of the Oath of Conquest Paladin build, using Saint Celestine as the character inspiration. But side note, the mod author has stated that there are additional levels. However, I need to download another mod in order to unlock levels past level 12, but I do want to save that for a part 2 vid. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the initial 12 levels of this character build so far. Like I said, there will be a part 2 follow-up video to showcase the additional features at the later levels. I believe up to level 17 or level 20 actually. But if you have any suggestions for character builds or mods that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments below what you would like to see. And for all the new viewers, if you've made it this far in the video, I want to say thank you. And if you're fans of anything related to Baldurs Gate, such as class and character builds, or D&D specifically too, and also if you love talking shop about Warhammer and Elder Scrolls lore, which I will do in future videos, please consider hitting those like, subscribe, and bell icon notifications, and I'll save you a seat at the table for the next adventure. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you then.